Hi there. So I just wanted to share my journey so far with endometriosis, my story, how I was diagnosed, and kind of where I am today. So in 2015, I started to see a growth on my belly button. I had no clue what it was, but over maybe 6 months or so, it just started getting bigger and bigger. So got it checked out, and then had like a minor surgery, removed it, and when they tested it, they found endometriosis. Now, I had no clue what that was, so started doing research, and I realized, because I really had horrible cramps my whole life, but you know, you just think it's cramps, it is what it is, but no, I had endometriosis. So endo for short. So did that, went to a specialist at the time, and the treatment plan was really just birth control and or surgery, to go in and remove everything, right? So I was like, I don't want to do that. I was on birth control basically my whole life because of the horrible pains as well. So I came off, and I just didn't want to go back. But I was like, you know, let me just try this, see if it works. So went back on birth control. That didn't take the pain. It didn't do much at all. And then what I noticed after a while too is that I started having pain in my right shoulder. And then I didn't realize, I didn't make the connection between my cycle and the shoulder pains until later down in 2015. So started doing research, and I didn't do anything much after that. Kind of just left it, dealt with the pain as it came. And so in 2016, I was at a work event, and I just started feeling some horrible pains. Had to be rushed to the ER, and I had emergency surgery that same night. It turned out that I had a cyst that had ruptured. So when they went in, endometriosis was everywhere, and so including they saw 2 endo implants on my diaphragm. And so after research, you know, after that surgery, I realized that those 2 implants on my diaphragm is what causes the pain in my shoulder. Doesn't make sense, but that's what that is, and that's called diaphragmatic endometriosis. So that's what I was diagnosed with informally, and then again went to see a different specialist. I told them about the shoulder pains. Now, doctors don't believe the shoulder pain thing. You know, a lot of them don't have experience with it, and so for them, it's like, your shoulder hurts, why does it hurt? Maybe it's a muscle thing, maybe it's, no, it's not. Like, it's with my period every month. I can tell you the specific dates before and after, and sometimes during my period, but doctors had no idea what to do with that. So again, left it alone. In 2017, so last January, I started having horrible pain again, and went to see a different specialist this time, and he was like, you have to have surgery. I had a large cyst and then a couple other small ones. He was like, you need to get these out. So had surgery last April, and when I came out of surgery, he was like, you had a very rough case. Like, you were stage 4 endometriosis. Like, that's the worst you can get. And so again, after surgery, his treatment plan was 2 things. One is Lupron. Most of you who know about endometriosis will know what that is. But it's an injection that basically pushes your body into menopause, and so that will stop the pain, stop your cycle, and all these other things. But then with that will come the symptoms of menopause. No, I didn't want to do that either. So I was like, no thanks. Again, birth control was suggested, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I didn't. So that was 2017. So still didn't do much after surgery, just visiting, you know, doing scans, making sure I was good. And then in 2018, so this year, I have a friend who, she has a surgeon in Connecticut, so I went to see him, you know, get a different opinion. So when I went to him, again, because the shoulder pain is the worst part, right? Because what happens is that it's really like from your neck all the way down, and sometimes it literally runs all the way down to your fingers. And that pain, like, nothing relieves it. You can take all the pain pills you want, nothing relieves that pain, and it feels like your whole body aches when you feel that way, and it brings this fatigue that is just, unbearable. And so that's the worst part. I mean, cramps, I can deal with cramps. That's no big deal. But the shoulder pain was just too much. So went to see this doctor and told him, and he had experience with the shoulder pains. My surgeon didn't, right? And so in the first surgery, they saw the implants on my diaphragm. In the second surgery I did last year, he didn't see anything. So went to this third doctor in Connecticut, and he was like, when I described my symptoms, he was like, you definitely have diaphragmatic endometriosis. So he was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Gonna get you on Lupron. So again, here with the Lupron and the menopause thing, and then birth control. And so I was like, you know what, alright. So I let it go. He did some blood tests, waiting on those results. So one day he called me, he was like, you need to get back on birth control today. The endometriosis is back, and it's not good, and you're gonna need to do something. So we're like, alright, cool. So went in, saw him, talked about the results, and it turned out that he had submitted Lupron to my insurance, and at the time I had new insurance, and they denied it. It is a very expensive drug, and so without insurance, essentially you won't be taking it unless you're rich. But I had been praying about this for a while because I didn't want to take it, and so I took that as a sign from the Lord. Yep, this is not for you. So I was like, alright, great. So didn't take that. So again, my next option was to have another surgery. But this would be a more dangerous one because they would actually try to go into my diaphragm and remove the implants. And that takes a special team. They have to do some stuff, flip you on the table, put you in a different position. I was like, no, I don't want to do that either. And so he was like, my surgeon was looking at me like, what do you want me to do? Like, what's the plan? What's the plan here? So in June, everything changed for me. I met a young lady, now a very good friend of mine, Heidi. What's up? Shout out to you. So she is, she's one of these people who is going towards being very natural in everything, right? So no pills, no nothing. So when she feels pain, she'll go drink some tea or something that, you know, can soothe that instead of taking a pill. For me, once I feel a hint of pain, I'm taking a pill because I don't want to be in pain. But she really challenged me to take a different approach. And so she came around the time when I saw this surgeon, and she was like, yeah, change the way you live, you know, and see what happens. I'm like, that's not even a thing. I can't do that. But then you start to look at, I started to really look at it, and there are other people who did the same thing, change the way they eat, change their lifestyle, and their lives changed, you know. And so she told me about Tia Mori as well, who had endometriosis, and she did the same thing. And so Tia has a book out called Whole New You. So I got this book, and in this Tia talks about her story with endometriosis and kind of now how she eats, you know, things that she cut out. And so this is a whole recipe book with awesome recipes that are endo friendly, right? So I got this book and I started my journey. So I told my doctor, this is the plan, sir. I am going to cut out dairy. I am going to cut back on meat, and I'm going to eat lots of fruits and veggies. And then I'm going to see what happens. And of course, exercise. And he was like, all right, do it for 6 months and do another blood test, and then we can see where you're at. Now, doctors never agree to do that because they don't believe in changing the way, well, some doctors don't believe in changing the way you eat, and then that will kind of heal your body or whatever. But he agreed, and I was like, well, bless the Lord. So that's what I started doing. So in July, change the way I eat, right? So I love cheese. Love cheese. I'd already stopped drinking milk. I only drink almond milk now. But cut out everything else that was dairy. And I went cold turkey on meat for the month of July at least, right? So cut meat completely. So a lot of nuts, a lot of quinoa, just veggies, fruits. So I did that, and then what I also did was I got a food journal. So literally writing out every single thing that I eat, and that's been really helpful for me. So far, I started that in July. In August when I had my cycle, oh my gosh, listen, I didn't take one pill. I didn't take one pill, none, took nothing at all. I was able to still go on the road. Now, that's not normal for me. My first 2 days, I'm at home, in bed, curled up, can't move. But everything changed, man. Everything changed. And so that's the journey I'm on now. And I'm sticking with it. Now, I missed my cycle in August. Came back in September. But this month, September was a little, had some unexpected challenges in September. It was a little more painful than it was in August, but in July. But what I'm gonna do is, I haven't done it yet, go back through my journal to see what I ate differently this month, and then kind of just compare that to July and see what I need to completely eliminate. So I just want to do this to encourage someone else who, first of all, if you are having horrible cramps, get checked out, because it's not normal. It's not the way to live. You can't go every single month missing 2 days from work, 2 days from school. You can't. No, that's not normal. It's not okay. Go get checked out. And if there is something, if there's a cyst, if there's whatever the case may be, have surgery, remove it, and that will be your clean slate to start again, to start eating fresh, to start changing the way you live, to start exercising. I promise you, you'll see the difference, but you have to be willing to do that. You have to completely be willing to do that. And then the other thing that works for me now is my trusty heating pad. Now, I bought this originally when I had shoulder pains, right? And so this was for my shoulder. And so the heat just, it soothes the pain, it's a lifesaver. And so now I use this for my stomach as well, because my cramps now are like very slight. So the heating pad, I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver. So I would encourage you to get checked out first of all, you know, and if surgery is necessary, do it. But of course, doing all of this according to, you know, make sure you're praying, make sure you're asking the Lord kind of how he wants you to go about this, because everybody's story is different, right? I know there are people who don't believe in doctors, don't believe in surgery, don't believe in I know that, but you know, I've heard stories of people who the Lord instructed them. They weren't sick, nothing was wrong with them, but the Lord put it on their hearts to go to the doctor and get checked out. This one guy in particular, just quick story, he got checked out, nothing was wrong with him, he wasn't sick. And when he got checked out, he had an infection in his brain. There were no symptoms, there were nothing. And the doctor was like, how are you even alive right now? So he had to have surgery, and during that surgery, he had this amazing experience with the Lord. Came out of that being able to tell the story now. And so I'm just saying that to say that the Lord can lead you to a surgeon. He can lead you to a doctor, and he can heal you that way. And so for me, I'm still believing for complete healing. The shoulder pains are still there, but it's so much slight and lighter than it used to be, right? So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I haven't started working out yet. I'm gonna start that on Monday, but I think that this is definitely something that the Lord has worked through for me to build faith and to just draw me closer to him, because on those days, man, when the pain hits, it wasn't cool. It wasn't a cool experience for me. And so I was like, it's time for a change. And so I'm grateful that I did this, man. I'm so grateful for Dee, because if it wasn't for her, would not have taken this step. I honestly would have gone for surgery, even though the surgery, you know, sounds really, really dangerous, but that would have been my option. So I'm grateful. And make sure you have friends who will keep you accountable. Like, if you're deciding to change the way you live, have friends who will check in, make sure that you're keeping and you're staying on it, right? But be encouraged. Like, there is hope. There is hope. Even if your doctors don't believe you, find a doctor who will. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm open to whatever questions you have, and I'll share from what I have experienced. But change the way you eat, change the way you live your life, and you'll see your body will respond to that. Your body will respond to that. So that's all I have to share today. I might do an update. I'm going to do another blood test in maybe about another 3 months, to see if the endo number kind of dropped. It's something called CA125, and mine is really high right now. So it should drop in another 3 months because of how I've been eating and how I've been choosing to live. So thanks for watching. See y'all later.